Welcome to the Warframe Weapon Encyclopedia, where today we're checking out the Kompressa. You can get the blueprint as well as the parts needed to build the Kompressa from the vent kits in Fortuna. And you have to be the rank of Logical, which is the 5th and final one. Now the weapon, receiver and barrel blueprints are all 25,000 standing, so you're gonna need 75 in total, as well as a bunch of extra resources on top. The Kompressa is a Mastery Rank 8 fully automatic secondary bubble gun, yes you heard that right, that does a little bit of viral damage with a projectile, which then explodes, doing even more viral damage in a range of 2.4 meters after a short delay. The weapon also sports a pretty poor 6% crit chance, a below average 1.8 times crit multiplier, though a good status chance of 30% per projectile, and it is a 12 round magazine with a 1.8 second reload. Now I really wasn't kidding when I said this was a bubble gun. You fire out bubbles that will swell up once they hit something and then pop and do a bunch of viral damage. Now you won't see these bubbles an awful lot during the gameplay footage because I specifically used the darkest black I have on the Kompressa, because if you put a bright energy color on this, it is an absolute flashbang. Here is what that looks like, and by the way, if you're sensitive to flashing lights, I would highly recommend you skip about 10 seconds ahead, okay? Like, whoever made this shouldn't be allowed to make things anymore. Now, as far as the build goes, it's definitely going to be status heavy because this weapon is amazing at proccing status, and I personally like to run a corrosive and heat setup, which is really good because of that innate viral damage, so this way we get corrosive, viral and heat. I also ended up sacrificing lethal torrent for primed fulmination just to get a bigger explosion radius, which gives me a better chance of overlapping the bubble pops. But you can easily take primed fulmination out and put in lethal torrent. It doesn't make a massive difference, but it's definitely noticeable. Now with this setup, the weapon will easily take on the entire star chart, do all the nightmare and fissure missions, sorties, and even early steel path. But if you want to squeeze the absolute maximum out of this and you want to take it all the way through steel path, which this weapon definitely can do, you're gonna have to run faction mods. The Kompressa is actually surprisingly nice, though it does have its downsides. The explosions, for the time being anyway, have self-stagger, it has a limited range of 35 meters, it's very inaccurate at long range, and it lacks crit, which you can really start to feel once you get into higher levels in steel path. But it's actually a very solid explosive secondary now that all the bugs have been ironed out. The amount of status this thing procs is just insane, which also means it's a really good candidate for running Cascadia Empowered, which is a secondary arcane that damages the enemy when you proc a status on them. This is actually a very solid way of adding a bunch of extra damage to the Kompressa. So if you're willing to do a little bit of K-driving to get the standing for the vent kits, to get to rank 5, and then do a bit of fishing and mining to get all the necessary resources to build all the parts, I would actually recommend you give the Kompressa a shot. It's pretty fun. Though I will warn you, it can feel a little bit strange when you first pick it up, alright? And as always guys, I thank you very much for watching, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.